Hey everyone, welcome back to Gracie May's Tarot. So today we're going to be finding out what are some of the favorite memories you will be making with your future spouse. What memories will you hold most dear? So we have three groups to choose from today. For pile one, we have Fight Like a Girl. I got these Sailor Moon stickers and I was like, well, before I actually put them on stuff, let's just use them in our group selections. You can also choose according to the deck. We have the Kawaii Tarot here. For pile two, we have the Golden Girls Tarot, and we have the whole Sailor Guardian gang. Well, not all of them, but we have at least the inner circle. And then for pile three, we have Sailor Moon. So take a moment, pause the video if you need to meditate on the groups. The timestamps are listed below in the description box, just like always, and I will see you guys in your reading. Hey pile one, if you chose the Fight Like a Girl sticker, welcome to your reading. So we'll just put this over here. So I pre-pulled your oracle cards, but we'll be shuffling your tarot on camera. So let's find out what are some of your favorite memories you will be making with your future spouse. Pile one, please Spirit. And a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. And I will say, before we start actually shuffling your cards, just based upon the deck that you chose, when I was selecting this one for pile one, it kind of gave me the feeling that family is going to be quite important for you. So even if you're not wanting children, that could be changing in the future. When you meet your future spouse, maybe you're actually finding someone you think would be a great parent, and they want children, and you know, as we age, sometimes our mindset towards that changes. It can be a bit shocking sometimes. I know some people who never ever wanted children actually find out as they grow older they would quite like to be a parent. This could also mean like being a pet parent as well. Like some of your favorite memories could be with your pets, you know, like walking the dog, playing with your cat. You know, maybe you and your future spouse are big animal lovers. There's a lot of animals featured in this deck, so that could definitely be a possibility. But I say children because there's a very like playful, childlike quality to this deck. It's a very sweet deck. But I think even if that message of children isn't resonating and you don't have any pets and you're not an animal lover and you're not quite close with your family, so that's not really resonating, that's okay. This deck could just be signifying that you and your future spouse are like kids at heart, you know, and you're very connected to your inner child and you do things that are fun and nostalgic. So maybe you both love this video game from your childhood and you guys play it together, or maybe you guys both like to play board games, or you like to go bowling or ice skating, or you both like to skateboard or ride bikes, you know, things like that. Like sort of activities that we would maybe associate with childhood could be something that you guys enjoy doing together. You guys have a lot of fun together. Like this would be my pile where you like to go to an amusement park and ride roller coasters, or you like to go swimming in the summertime, you know, just like fun activities you would associate with childhood, like going out for ice cream, stuff like that, like the little moments. All right, so I'll stop talking now and we'll shuffle your tarot. Favorite memories you will be making with your future spouse. What do we need to know? Pile one. Okay, we have the Seven of Swords, we have Judgment. Pile one, favorite memories you will be making with your future spouse. Pile one. We've got the Five of Wands, and let's get one more card here. We don't want to. It's just one more. One more card, please, Spirit. The Chariot. Ooh, I like this so much. Okay, so pile one. Definitely you guys could like to travel to places together. And this doesn't have to mean like traveling the whole world. Although if you're interested in that, maybe your future spouse also has some wanderlust in them. But this could just be like taking a short day trip, you know, like, oh, I saw on Instagram this cool park and it's only 30 minutes away, like let's go there. Or you know, like for example, like if you're in the United States and maybe you're living in a small town and you really want to go to one of the major cities within your state, like if you're in Georgia and you want to go to Savannah for a day and you want to do like the ghost tours and things like that, you know, some like fun day trip that's not necessarily like so far away. But I feel like if you're not adventurous, your future spouse is. Like, you know, they come up with like creative ideas, fun things for you guys to do. Again, like there's this kind of overall feeling of like, let's adventure together, let's have fun, let's explore, you know, let's just see what's out there, let's have fun. There's a really like light-hearted, playful dynamic between you two. And it's kind of cute too with this Five of Wands. Feels like you and your future spouse have this back and forth dynamic, you know. You really like to have banter back and forth with one another. You like to fuss a little bit. You like to keep each other on your toes. And I think that you'll look back and have fond memories of some of those like fussy little fights that you guys have with each other. Or you could have also like mutual friends in common and you guys all kind of like to spar a little bit. You like to, you know, just fuss a little bit with each other. Actually, okay, I'm just watching Sailor Moon for the first time as an adult, but actually in Sailor Moon, they do, like they argue and fuss a lot, but their bond is so strong as friends. It kind of feels like that, like there's a solid, you know, sort of friendship between you and your future spouse where you can fuss with each other and you don't take it so seriously, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some fire signs in this group, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, you know, because there's definitely this feeling of like, let's just have fun. And it also kind of feels like with the Seven of Swords here, because this did come out in the reverse, doesn't feel like there's any secrets between you two, you know, like you can be quite honest with one another, even if other people are like, oh, that was a little bit blunt, but you know, like you guys don't mince your words, you know, you're very truthful and honest with each other. Also with the way that he's like spearing these donuts, kind of makes me think that trying different cuisines is like a huge thing for you guys, like trying out different restaurants, different places to eat, maybe food from different cultures, you know, because we did get this message about traveling with the Chariot. That could also be, you know, something that you guys like to do, like maybe there are nice wineries in your area, and so like you travel and typically there are like really pretty restaurants and beautiful views at those kind of places, like the vineyards is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why that word was eluding me, but stuff like that. One of you could also be into baking and like sharing treats with each other, but I think really like this message here about traveling and having fun is definitely coming through. Also with Judgment here, kind of makes me think you would also be a group where you would have, because I feel like that's honestly something that's important to you. Like if you are resonating with that message about children and you really want to have kids, kind of like this desire to instill a good, strong moral compass in your children, but teaching them through experience and not through words. Like you would want to take your kids out and do a day of like volunteering for a cause that you really believe in, you know, like teaching them through experience and sharing that with them. And then that would also include your future spouse. So like, for example, like if you guys are big animal lovers, you know, like maybe you and your family would go for a day and spend some time at the Humane Society or like whatever your local animal shelter charity is, and you would teach them like compassion and nurturing and, you know, giving back through that experience, you know, something like that. Also, gardening could be a thing. Like maybe you guys both have some sort of shared hobby or interest that you guys like to do together. That could also be a possibility here. I also feel like you guys would visit a lot of botanical gardens. It's just a message that's coming through here, but just something that you guys may enjoy doing together. You know, like being outdoors, but not necessarily like, doing a hike or something like super intense. It just feels more like, oh, a nice stroll through a garden and then we'll have lunch. You know, it doesn't feel like, oh, we're gonna be all sweaty and like covered in bug spray kind of thing. Like, not like that. It feels like you guys are a little bit too, maybe a little bit too fussy for that. Like, I'm the same way. Like, I want to be out in nature, but then I want air conditioning. Like, I don't want to be like, yeah, I don't want to be covered in mosquito bites, like afraid that I'm never going to find civilization again kind of thing. Yeah, okay. Let's actually get into your oracle now. Okay, so we have improv, just make it up. All right, this again, I'm sorry if you don't want children, but just the silliness of this cat in a tutu with a unicorn kind of makes me think that if you are resonating with that message of like wanting children, some of your favorite memories will be your future spouse entertaining your kids. Like, it feels like your future spouse has a real sort of comedic side to them. Like, they like to make people laugh, they like to joke around, they like to be a bit silly. And so it feels like there's just a lot of fun in your household, you know, like you're the type of family that would do crafts together, that would, you know, have a karaoke night or do charades or, you know, play games together. Like, it feels like a very immersed household, like enmeshed. That's the word I'm looking for, enmeshed. Like, there feels like a real sense of togetherness, you know, like you're not just all in your own separate rooms doing your own thing all the time, like only eating meals together. You know, it feels like you guys really spend that quality time together when you're able to. You know, like there's a lot of dancing and fun and silliness and laughter. And it also kind of feels like you guys might, and this might be difficult for you, but it feels like, honestly, this is an influence from your future spouse of just going out and exploring, you know, like maybe not necessarily having a set, like we're gonna do this, that, and the third today, more so like, let's just go to this area and check it out and see what's around, and we'll just make it up as we go along. You know, it feels like your future spouse is a really spontaneous person, and they don't necessarily like to be really regimented, like this is what we're gonna do at this time, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna do there. You know, it doesn't feel like that kind of energy. It feels more like laid back, let's go with the flow, let's just have fun. Feels like fun is a real priority in your household for sure. You know, like if you're not having fun, like what is the point? Also, with this Chariot card here, sometimes the messages come a little bit later, so pardon me if this is kind of out of order, but it also makes me think that if you want to have children, your future spouse would be really good at making up stories, like bedtime stories, and you might get a real kick out of hearing some of the fantastical, magical stories that your future spouse makes up to your kids before bedtime, or your child if you just have one kid. But for those of you who are like, no, absolutely don't want to have children, not resonating with that message, again, it's just talking about the spontaneity of your future spouse. And, you know, it's going to be those moments where you have fun together. Because again, like your future spouse is a real kid at heart, you know? Yeah. Okay. I think even like monotonous tasks, like going to grocery store shopping or something, could be a lot of fun with your future spouse. Like there's this message of even ordinary, like running errands, doing daily chores can be fun because of your future spouse's like high energy and how entertaining they are. I just feel like they make you laugh a lot. Okay, so we have open up and we have family. Yep. It's just coming, this message is coming in kind of over and over again. So like, you know, like I understand not everyone wants children. And again, family can mean your pets, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to mean actual children. But it is a strong message for a lot of you. And the double fours here, there's a lot about stability, and it feels like you just feel really safe, you know, and that's a nice balance, that your relationship is so fun and spontaneous, and yet you feel so safe and stable and secure. Like that's really, really nice. It's a nice balance. To this open up card though, it does feel like some of your favorite memories will be those heart-to-heart conversations, you know? Like when you guys get past the goofing around and silliness and like banter and all that back and forth, when you get down to like the heart of it and you guys have a real conversation that's deep, because I don't think that you open up a lot, and I don't think your future spouse opens up a lot. I think you guys like to keep it light and fun and flirty kind of most of the time, but when you do open up and you do share, I feel like that real deep intimacy doesn't happen necessarily like all the time, and I think you're comfortable with that. But when it does happen, you cherish it and you remember it, and it's a good memory for you. It's one of your favorite memories when they open up and you open up, and probably for the first time that you guys are really vulnerable with each other, that memory is going to stay with you for a really long time, because I think that's when, you know, that sort of solidifies that like this is the one, this is the person that I'm going to marry. Like I feel safe to open up, because again, it's that beautiful balance between fun and this flirtatiousness, but also that safety and that security. And then with family, again, I think that some of your favorite memories will be memories shared, not just with your future spouse, but with your children, your pets, your animals, or even your in-laws, or if your future spouse isn't very close with their biological family, it could be memories that you guys share with your family or found family. You know, like maybe they have friends that are like their family, and so the memories you guys share together on like group dates, or you invite people over to your home and, you know, sharing in those holidays together, and those special events like really sticks with you, you know, like maybe you, because I could definitely see like with how fun you guys are, at least your future spouse is coming through again like a comedian. I could definitely see you guys hosting parties and stuff like that at your house, you know, hosting a barbecue or, you know, a nice dinner, you know, having your friends over for lunch, things like that. You know, I feel like those would be memories that you would hold near and dear. And it does feel like you and your future spouse share some friends. So like maybe you guys have some couple friends, or if you are resonating with the children message, you know, maybe you have friends who are also parents, you know, and you guys all come together and then the kids are playing while the adults are talking and stuff like that. That could also be a message here. Okay, so we have Chakra Fairy. I'll show you guys the back of these cards because they're so pretty. And then we have Hummingbird Dreams. I love this so much for you. Okay, with Hummingbird Dreams, even the smallest of dreams that you have, like those little moments that like you can't wait to experience with your future spouse, like sharing a cup of coffee in the morning. Well, not sharing an actual cup, sharing a pot of coffee. Having coffee together in the mornings, you know, eating dinner together, taking a walk outside together, you know, just the small little moments like I was talking about before, like going grocery shopping together, you know, not having to do everything on your own, you know, like having a partner, like just that, how nice it is to have a partner, how nice it is to have someone to do stuff with, you know, all the little things that you've been wanting to do that you've never done before because you were like, I don't want to do that on my own, you know, and maybe you even have a little bit of social anxiety and there's some stuff that sounds really fun but you don't want to go by yourself. Whatever they are, those little moments that you want to share with someone but you don't have a partner yet or someone willing to do those things with you, you're going to find that with your future spouse. And those are the memories that are really going to make a difference and create some like real longevity to your marriage. You know, like this is sort of going to be like the bedrock of your marriage, are those like little moments, those little dreams coming true. And as I was talking, I saw a yellow butterfly fly past the window. And I mean, obviously butterfly, we think of transformation, we think of healing, we think of growth. And then yellow, we think of optimism and happiness and hope. And personally, it's my favorite color. So that seems like a really good omen for you, pile one. And then with Chakra Fairy, I do think this kind of goes really, really, oh, I just noticed there's kind of a butterfly there. I was also thinking this card goes really well with the Open Up card, the Chakra Fairy, because I think that there's also going to be some real moments of healing that happens within this marriage. You know, some recognition of like, oh, you have the same insecurities as I do, or oh, like you understand where I'm coming from, or like, oh, I feel safe enough to share this like truth about myself that I've never felt safe enough to share before. I think those moments of real true intimacy are going to be some of your favorite memories within this marriage. Let's see. I think that's all that I'm getting for these cards. And if there's any messages, as always, that you're getting from this that I'm not sharing, you know, always feel free to claim those. I would say also with the hummingbird here, it kind of makes me think that your future spouse is definitely going to make, because you know, hummingbirds, like their wings beat so fast and their heart beats so fast. It kind of makes me think again of like that passion, that racing heart, you know, that adventure, that sense of fun. You know, you guys might like to do some adrenaline kind of stuff together, like riding roller coasters, or, you know, I don't know, like riding in a helicopter, like learning to surf together. I don't know, stuff like that. Feels like a very action-oriented, going zip-lining, you know, fun stuff. And again, that may be things that you weren't brave enough to do before, but with your future spouse's encouragement, you know, you feel like you can do it. All right, so let's end your reading with a love message from your future spouse's higher self. And I also just love the yellow here. It feels like that's sort of the overall vibe of your reading here, is this like happy-go-lucky kind of energy. We have soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. So that's a very good sign, right? That you could be marrying your soulmate. Love to see that. It also kind of makes sense too with the deck that you chose, because there's a lot here about nostalgia, right? Like, you know, when I think of soulmates, I think of shared past lives together, shared history, and that could make sense, like why you feel like you can open up and be vulnerable with this person in a way that you never have before. And so there's this sense of like deep intimacy, but also this sense of playfulness, and like feels like we've known each other forever, and so we can act like kids and have fun, and like no one's gonna judge the other person for it. Really feels like there's no sense of, you know, judging the other person, or, you know, it really feels like those insecurities are quieted in this marriage. Okay, so pile one, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I forgot what I was saying for a second there, and I'm like, how could I when I say the spiel over and over again? But anyway, I'm so grateful and so happy to everyone who is supporting the channel. A big, huge thank you to everyone, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Take care, pile one. Best of luck to you in your love life. Hey pile two, welcome to your reading. So if you chose the Golden Girls Tarot, you are in the right place. I actually chose this sticker to go with this deck because both of them talk about friendship, okay? The Golden Girls is really big on friendship, and then none of the guardians would be as effective as they are at fighting villains if they didn't all work together. And so it just tells me that you and your future spouse are going to be great friends, not just romantic partners, and that's going to be the bedrock of your marriage, is the friendship that you share together. So pile two, what are some of the favorite memories that you will share with your future spouse? Pile two, and a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. Pile two, favorite memories you will share with your future spouse. What do we need to know? So we have death here. We have temperance. We have the hermit. Oh wow, this is a lot of major arcana to come out. And the Page of Pentacles. It really feels like a lot of your favorite memories with your future spouse are quite intense. Like, they're quite significant moments. You know, pile one was about sort of the everyday or weekend adventures, whereas these feel more like milestones in your marriage. You know, it's not the day-to-day little moments. It's huge, sort of significant turning points in your life that you're sharing with your future spouse. And there's this feeling of, thank goodness I don't have to go through this alone. You know, like, it feels like maybe you've known quite a lot of hardship or challenges or difficulties in your life, and to not be on your own anymore, to have someone to be by your side feels like such a relief. It feels like a huge change from the past. And, you know, it feels like you and your future spouse are able to overcome challenges together with grace. You know, it feels like even in the darkest of moments, you guys are able to handle it with grace and shift and change and transform and adapt really well to any sort of setback that you may have. And it feels like, in terms of like material success, feels like you guys are able to create sort of a new future for yourselves anytime you need to. You know, it feels like even if we have to start over from the bottom, I'm so grateful that I have you with me. And I'm not saying that you guys are going to be facing financial ruin or something like that. It just means that, you know, we all go through challenges and setbacks and difficult cycles. And for you in your marriage, you really feel like you have a teammate, you know, like, it's not like you get married and your life is going to be perfect, right? Like, there's always going to be challenges and struggles and different seasons of life, you know? Some seasons are seasons of abundance and other seasons are challenging and difficult. But it feels like even in the difficult seasons, there's still happiness and hope and optimism for the future, and a sense of like handling things with grace and handling things in a balanced, mature way, because you have this teammate by your side. It feels very positive. Let's see, Two of Pentacles. There's a lot here about balance. A lot here about balance. You know, it's that you are able to juggle so much because you have someone supporting you. And it could be that some of these challenges may come up with like your career, you know, maybe you're trying to achieve a lot and you're able to do that because you have a true partner, someone who's truly supporting you. Yeah, the Sun. Yeah, it feels like you guys really support each other through the dark moments, but then when it's time to celebrate, you guys celebrate really hard. You know, like, you work hard to play hard. Can we talk about what some of these Sun moments are going to look like for my pile twos? What are some of these Sun moments going to look like in their marriage? Six of Swords. It's going to be how you overcome difficult situations. That's what it's going to be. And I feel like some of your favorite memories with your future spouse are going to have you or trigger you to reflect upon the past and where you've come from and how far you've come. So for example, like, again, I feel like pile two, you have been through some hardships, some challenges in your life. You know, maybe you were really financially struggling on your own. This is just an example. Maybe you were really financially struggling on your own, and then when you get to purchase your dream home with your future spouse, you stop and you reflect on how hard you had it before, and it creates this sense of gratitude and just pure joy for that moment, pure appreciation for how far you've come, how far you've journeyed to get to this point, okay? Or like if you start a business with your future spouse and there are some ups and downs, right? Like, that's just what comes with having your own business. And then you reach that goal of, like, you know, whatever your financial goal was with the business, and you start to see a real profit. The joy that you experience from that progress that you've made, I think, feels incredible to you. So it's just a real joy and appreciation every time you guys overcome something and how you feel, or even if it's just such a departure from your past. Again, like, it's that joy, that gratitude for the moment. We have Judgment here, bottom of the deck. It feels like there's a lot here about karma. And so it feels like you are starting to understand like the wheel of fortune and how the wheel turns. And it feels like everything that you have been through has been preparing you for this influx of good karma that's going to come your way because you handled those challenges with such grace. And the same thing for your future spouse, because it feels like you guys are linked in this way. Okay, let's get into your oracle. We have manifest from thought to form. It really feels like you guys have been building towards this marriage with this person. It feels kind of like the energy of having a joint soul mission with somebody. And it feels like when you come together, there's going to be a lot of big changes in your life. But you see in retrospect with clarity how those changes were preparing you so your dreams could come true. It's like what wasn't working in your life had to fall away for the right things to come together. And so it kind of feels like in some ways maybe your future spouse represents sort of like a storm coming into your life, but then the storm clears away everything that shouldn't have been there. And then yes, there's this massive change, and that's why we have all these major arcana coming in, but it was for your highest good. And so you see the reward. And you see why certain things had to happen to push you down the right path. And so there's a real sense of gratitude that you answered that call to action, and that because you answered that soul calling, what you've been manifesting about, what you've been dreaming about is coming into fruition. So again, for some of you, that's like starting a business with your future spouse, and a lot of your favorite memories are going to be tied to that career success, that financial success. For others of you, though, it could be literally anything that you've been wanting to manifest, a big goal, you know, like your dream home, you know, like even like wanting to live somewhere else, you know, that could be a result of this marriage, like coming to fruition. You know, maybe that person is from somewhere that you've always wanted to live, or maybe that person has also always shared a dream of living in that other place. It just feels like there's a lot of change happening here. And again, it's a general reading, so it's going to vary, but it does feel like a lot of these dreams that you've been carrying in your heart are going to come into fruition as a result of you marrying your future spouse and having this relationship with them. It feels like you guys share the same vision for the future. That's what it feels like to me. We have true love, and we have friendship. Yeah, friendship. Okay, so like we were saying before, feels like friendship is the bedrock of your relationship. And even as I'm thinking about you guys choosing the Golden Girls Tarot, in the TV show, they all work together on a couple different things. Like they do charity work together, you know, they do side businesses together. You know, they're always having different adventures and, you know, trying out new things together. But a lot of it is related to like, let's make some side money kind of thing. So it feels like you and your future spouse are in some ways tied in terms of your career. And that doesn't necessarily mean like what you do, like your 9-to-5 kind of job. Like maybe you start a side project with them, you know, maybe it's not as dramatic as you opening up your own business with them. It could be if that's what you're wanting to do, but it could just be that you guys work on some sort of side hustle together to bring in some extra income. But again, it just feels like something about your soul's purpose is linked with this person. And a lot of your favorite memories that you have is working on this project together. It feels like you and your future spouse are very goal-oriented. You know, you guys both, again, share that common vision, that shared dream of the future. It could even be that you guys buy a fixer-upper in terms of your home, and then you guys love renovating it together and making it your own together. You know, like it doesn't have to necessarily be a career like side project. It could be your side project is your home, and so creating that together is something that, you know, you guys share a lot of quality time and bonding moments as you're creating this beautiful home together. Let's see. And then true love. it feels like you guys, again, are like on the same vibrational like wavelength. Like you guys both get each other, you're in sync, you know, you guys are following the same song, your hearts are beating to the same tune. And I think if we're talking about the smaller day-to-day moments, because I know a lot of what we've been talking about have been like the big moments, if we are starting to focus on the smaller moments in your marriage, I think it's going to be just how well this person gets you. You don't have to explain too much. You don't have to say too much. They get where you're coming from because they're coming from the same place. You know, I think you guys are similar in a lot of ways. You know, they just understand you. Even if they have, you know, obviously some differences in you, they're not going to be identical to you, but they just understand. They just get you. Even if they're thinking differently on something, they get where you're coming from. And I also feel like you guys could literally share a love of music, and that could be something that you guys enjoy doing, like going to concerts together. Maybe you're both musicians, or maybe they're a musician and you like to hear them play. Maybe they write songs for you and that's how they express their love to you. That could also be a possibility here. I also think with friendship, you guys could definitely share some hobbies. You know, you share some common interests, and that's, you know, some special like quality time, bonding moments together are engaging in that same hobby. All right, pile 2. I'm so sorry, you're gonna see like a weird jump cut. I was filming pile 3 and then I noticed I forgot these 2 cards for your group. So sorry about that, pile 2. No wonder your reading kind of felt incomplete. So let's see, we have Summer Dragon and we have Chocolate Brownie Fairy. Okay, so pile 2, some of your favorite memories with your future spouse could be taking place in the summertime. Could also be like doing outdoor activities together, doing those typical summertime activities. You know, I guess it depends upon where you live, but whatever is typical to the culture that you're from. You know, for me, if I think about summertime, I think about going and getting ice cream, going to the beach, you know, going on vacation, taking trips. Think about, you know, being outside, you know, like if you like to garden or do anything, you know, in terms of like yard work, stuff like that. Or if you just enjoy being outside, like reading a book outside, painting outside, doing yoga outside, you know, whatever the case may be, those summertime activities. Or if you're like really outdoorsy, going like kayaking and stuff like that could be a possibility. Or that may be something that your future spouse really enjoys, and like maybe this isn't your favorite season, but they make you appreciate it because they're so excited during that time of year. And then we have Chocolate Brownie Fairy. So this really makes me think of indulgence. Like whatever it is that you like to indulge in, your future spouse may have a similar, like for example, like we could take this card pretty literally, right? Like maybe you really, really love chocolate cake, and your future spouse also really loves chocolate cake. So that could be something that you guys like to do together, like, oh, let's watch a movie and let's bake a chocolate cake and we'll have the cake with the movie. Stuff like that, like whatever you like to indulge in. Like maybe you guys both really love a certain TV show, and so you'll binge watch that TV show. Or maybe you guys really like Star Wars, and so you'll binge watch the Star Wars like movie franchises, or you know, Harry Potter, anything like that. You know, maybe you guys are both a huge fan of something and you like to indulge in that together. Or it could literally be any activity or food or thing that you enjoy doing. Your future spouse could share that same joy with you. And also with Chocolate Brownie Fairy, I also think of children with this card in particular. So if you're wanting to have kids, could be that some of your favorite memories are fun things that you treat the kids to and you guys enjoy that as a family, like going to a water park for the day, or you know, doing silly things like having a balloon fight, or you know, like baking Christmas cookies together, or like whatever holiday you celebrate. You know, just doing things like that together and making memories as a family could also be a possibility. Also, you know, doing things that you guys are both nostalgic about from childhood. So maybe if you really enjoyed a certain activity from childhood and you guys end up doing that together, like I don't know, something silly like a water gun fight, or you know, maybe there was a holiday that you really loved as a kid, and so you guys both share that love. Like Halloween would be a good one to think of, like that children really enjoy and that you can also enjoy as an adult. So, and you could even like pass that joy onto your kids, and so then your kids really, really love Halloween and it's a big deal in your household, you know, stuff like that. So lots of possible meanings from these two cards. And if you guys are noticing something that's coming up for you that I haven't said, always feel free to claim that message. All right, pile 2. Sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, we're done with the oracle. All right, so we're just gonna end with a message from your future spouse's higher self. So this is going to be a message from them that they think that you need to hear at the time of this reading. Okay. Oh, wow. This is why, like, sometimes I prefer to shuffle on camera just so you guys can see this happen in, like, real time. But for, like, the sake of, like, not having readings that are so long all the time, I wanted to pre-pull cards. But just the repeating theme of friendship, like, we got that just with the deck that you chose, being that it's the Golden Girls. Like, literally the intro song to the Golden Girls is Thank You for Being a Friend. Like, and then we have friendship here. And then again, with friendship, even if I look at the 2 and the 3, like I think of the 2 of Cups and then I also think of the 3 of Cups, you know, like there's just a lot here about celebration and being on the same wavelength and just understanding each other and being supportive of each other. You know, it really, I know I haven't read this yet, but it feels like you guys are each other's biggest cheerleader, you know, your biggest supporter, you know, like this is your, you know, it's almost like you guys are each other's biggest fan. And I love that so much. I love that. Okay, we have friendship. Nurture the bonds of friendship within your relationship and your love life will dramatically improve. Some of you guys, like, you're going to be friends with this person first. You know, it's going to be friends to lovers. Maybe you already know this person. Maybe they're already in your social circle. Maybe they are a friend of a friend and you haven't been introduced yet, but you will. You could have some mutual friends in common that you're not aware of. Or this just could be talking about maintaining the friendship in your marriage is going to be the most important part of your marriage. Remember in the very beginning I said it feels like the friendship, the teamwork is the bedrock of your marriage. So this will be the key to maintaining your marriage and making sure your marriage has longevity. But I mean, the fact that you have true love, like, I don't think you have to worry too much about whether your marriage will be successful. Like, I think you guys are really primed to have a long, healthy, happy marriage. But yes, so pile 2, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is just to watch the ads or do any of the other things that I listed. I'm so appreciative and grateful for anyone who chooses to do any of those things that I listed. And I will see you guys in my next one. Take care, pile 2. This looks very promising. Hi pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you chose the Sailor Moon sticker or the Green Witch Tarot here. I will say with the Green Witch Tarot, maybe your future spouse or you both share a love of the outdoors and some of your favorite memories will be outdoor activities, you know, like going on trails, camping together, going to the beach, you know, going to like scenic places, driving through the mountains, you know, stuff like that. Or it could just be that with the Green Witch Tarot, I also always think of holidays and traditions and sort of rituals, because I don't know, I just associate that with witchcraft and, you know, like the pagan holidays and stuff. I feel like those special occasions are going to be really important to you in your marriage. Like, you're going to make a big deal about those celebrations, you know, and you guys are going to have a nice routine together and you're going to have things that you always do that sort of carry on, well, traditions is what I'm trying to say. Like, you're going to have unique traditions, things that are special to you in your marriage, or if you want to have kids that are special to you in your family, you know, things that you guys do every single year, you know, and birthdays. I would think birthdays would also be really important. Okay. And then also with you guys choosing this Sailor Moon sticker, I'm watching Sailor Moon for the first time as an adult. And so Usagi is really sort of demanding of Mamoru's attention in the TV show, at least in the 90s one that I'm watching. And so kind of makes me feel like your future spouse might like to spoil you a little bit, might like to give in to you. I wouldn't be surprised if your future spouse is big on acts of service, or gift giving could also be a love language for them. Also, they kind of act as a mentor. Tuxedo Mask in the TV show is Mamoru, acts as a mentor to Sailor Moon, so in some ways, you know, gives advice. And so that could also be sort of the dynamic there, where your future spouse just gives you really great advice. You know, they inspire you, you look up to them in some ways. All right, so pile 3. Favorite memories you will share with your future spouse. Pile 3, please Spirit, what do we need to know? And a big thank you to my guides and your guides for coordinating these messages. I also feel like your future spouse is quite like entertained by you. You know, like maybe sometimes when you're like being silly, or you know you're being kind of like frivolous, or I don't know, there's just something about you that they find like sweet and endearing and funny, and I don't know, they kind of look at you like, oh, they're so precious, they're so cute, you know? I think they're quite enamored by you, you know, like they do adore you. Which is nice. I mean, it's your future spouse. Really feels like they would do anything for you. Your future spouse is a lot more talkative than the other two groups. Like, your future spouse is really coming through quite strongly. Yeah, they have quite a lot to say. If you're a divine feminine, they really like that side to you. Like, they like your feminine side. Okay, so let me move this over here. We have the 9 of Swords, we have the Fool card, we have Queen of Swords, we have King of Pentacles, and we have the 5 of Wands. With this King of Pentacles, again, we're not talking about gender, we're just talking about energy. It really feels like your future spouse is coming through with this King of Pentacles. Like, it feels like they like to spoil you, they like to take care of you, they just like to do things for you. And it's kind of like your future spouse is saying like, wait, let me tell you what some of my favorite memories are gonna be. Like, again, like your future spouse is very chatty. They're like, well, let me tell you. Like, my favorite memories are, again, it feels like they like to spoil you on your birthday, you know, like they make a big deal about your birthday, or like whatever holidays you celebrate, you know, especially holidays that involve like gift giving, they are really big on that, and they love that. They just love to spoil you. They like to take care of you. And it's funny because they like to do that for you, especially because they know that you don't need them to. Like, they know this Queen of Swords character is making me think that this is your energy. The Queen of Swords does not need anyone to take care of her. Like, she is very competent, she is very independent, she's very self-sufficient, and it's like that's a turn on for your future spouse, and they know that you don't need the help, but they want to give it to you anyway, you know? And it's like, you may even be like, you don't need to do this for me, you don't need to do that for me, but they like it. They just like to spoil you. And so they're just coming through with that message that they really like to treat you, you know? And they could do things for you, like cook meals for you. You know, it's not necessarily like them always buying you gifts. It feels like they just like to do things for you to make your life a little bit easier, because it does feel like you're quite busy. You know, it feels like, again, like you have a lot going on, your own tasks that you are focused on. And so they just like to make your life a little bit easier, you know, like they like to support you in that way. making your day a little bit brighter, a little bit easier, a little bit lighter. And I think a lot of it is because you're so resilient, pile 3. Like, you've gone through quite a lot in your life. You've overcome a lot of hardship, a lot of challenges, a lot of, you know, things that have caused you to have nightmares, insomnia, anxiety. You've overcome a lot. And so your future spouse is like, I admire them so much. Like, they have had so many challenges thrown at them. So many people have, you know, counted you out. Like, I feel like pile 3, you've been knocked down quite a bit, and every time you get back up, like, they just have such an admiration for you, and they admire how pure your heart is and how big your dreams are, even though you've been through so much and you've had so many challengers, and challenges, I guess. You know, they just really admire you, you know, and how sweet and soft and kind you are, even though you're also so tough and so independent and so resilient. And so it's just like they want to give to you because they feel like you deserve it, and they feel like you've been given a harder life than what anyone should have to go through. You know, like they're like, no one should have to go through what you've been through, but especially not someone as sweet and wonderful as you are. So I want to make sure the rest of your days with me are as easy and as enjoyable as possible. So it really feels like they just want to give you a fresh start, you know, like they just want to give you a happy, hopeful life and future. So I know your reading's playing out very differently than the other 2 groups, but your future spouse just had some stuff they wanted to say to you. Pile 3. Yeah, they want you to rest and relax with the 4 of Swords here. And I think that those are the memories that you're really going to cherish, are because you're so busy. Like, I do feel like you're quite, you know, like career or goal oriented, or even if you want to be the one to stay at home with the children, like if you want children and you want to take care of the home, that sort of thing, that's still work and that's still very demanding. So it feels like your favorite moments that you share with your future spouse are going to be moments that you guys are just relaxing, you know, enjoying the view. Again, like being out in nature, you know, like going for a walk and enjoying the sunset together, you know, laying out on the beach, you know, enjoying just listening to the waves together. It feels like you and your future spouse don't have to say too much. You know, it feels like you guys just being near each other and enjoying each other's presence. Like, you don't always have to fill up those quiet moments with talk. It feels like you guys just enjoy each other's company so much that you don't always have to say it in words how you're feeling, because you show each other that love so much that you don't have to, you know, it doesn't have to be, a lot of things don't have to be said between you two. And I think that if you're the Queen of Swords here, that's a big difference for you, because this is someone who's really big on communication, and this one is someone who's very big on like showing and action. And so it's going to be like, oh, like instead of someone just telling me what I want to hear, this person is showing me that they love me. And I think that may be an adjustment for you in your marriage, but I think that it's really going to warm your heart. You know, the Queen of Swords has some boundaries. She has some walls up. So I think this King of Pentacles is going to melt that quite a bit. Yeah, we have the 8 of Swords and it's coming out in the reverse. So it does feel like this was your past energy, like feeling so trapped, feeling so stuck, you know, feeling like you couldn't see a way out of your situation. And then it feels like probably your future spouse comes in and helps you even get out of this, or you get out of it on your own, right? But it feels like limiting beliefs, or, you know, even just other people putting you down and making you feel lesser than, you know, you're resolving that. And so coming from that energy to this energy is quite a significant shift. You know, both of this is anxiety, worry, confusion, feeling like you're not good enough. This is rest and peace and relaxation. So it does feel like your marriage creates a pretty significant shift for you. You know, you don't have to work so hard anymore. With the 7 of Wands here, yeah, you're able to put up these wands, you know, and just enjoy what you achieved. You know, you're not going to have to keep working so hard to feel like you're achieving so little, which is nice. And I feel like a lot of your favorite memories that you're going to share with your future spouse are things that were not financially obtainable for you before. Because it does feel like your future spouse has a lot more wealth than you do. And even if you are pretty financially stable, it just feels like your future spouse is even more financially abundant than you are. Give me 1 second. Sorry guys, someone was talking in my house, so it was getting a little bit loud. I'm back now. I think what I was saying is that your future spouse is going to be quite wealthy, quite financially well off, or at least significantly more stable in their finances than you are. No matter like what your financial status is, it just feels like they're a little bit further along than you are. And so it feels like some of the things that you guys do with them aren't going to be things that were financially feasible for you. So maybe places you've always wanted to travel to, vacation to, you know, restaurants that you've always wanted to eat at, but you know, it was too expensive, you know, stuff like that, you know, even things that you always wanted to buy for yourself, but you're like, no, it's not practical to spend that much money. You know, just those moments that you're gonna share together, but more so experiences, you know, not just things, but experiences that, you know, cost money to do. You're going to be able to do them with your future spouse. You know, they really want to give you a nice life because they're like, you've worked so hard and you deserve it, you know. And that may be an adjustment for you, especially if you're identifying with the Queen of Swords, could be an adjustment for you, even being any amount of dependent upon, you know, someone else. Oh, I just noticed I didn't pull 2 oracle cards for pile 2. I'm gonna have to go back and add to their reading. Oh no. Okay, anyway, back to you guys. You all got 2 of these cat oracle cards. Every other group got 1, and that makes sense to me now because your future spouse is quite talkative. But you have receive, accept the gift, and we have vanity, it's all about meow. So I like that these 2 came out together because I think that you may feel a bit like undeserving sometimes, or like, you know, oh, you shouldn't buy me all these things, you shouldn't do all this stuff for me. You know, you may feel guilty about how much they give to you because your future spouse is a huge giver. And especially if you are used to being in the role of the giver, it may make you feel a bit uncomfortable or like, do I deserve all of this? And you do, you know, like your future spouse is saying, please accept what I'm doing for you. Like, you deserve this. Like, this is how I express my love. And it makes me feel good to do these things for you. So just kind of like, let me do my thing. It's the message that's coming through. And then we have mystery. And we have healing. Yeah, it feels like you've been through so much, pile 3, you know? It feels like you absolutely deserve someone as kind and loving and as giving as your future spouse is going to be. Feels like you 110% deserve someone like this in your life. And I think that they like to surprise you a lot, and that's going to be some of your favorite memories are the surprises that your future spouse has in store for you. So I won't get into detail about what that could look like, but could be like surprise parties or surprise gifts or surprise trips, you know, stuff like that could be a possibility there. Even they could surprise you with a pet, you know, that could be a thing. But I also just feel like it's going to be very healing, and some of your favorite moments are going to be just, again, like those little moments of like recognition between you and your future spouse, like the way that they look at you. It's not necessarily like what they're saying, but it's that non-verbal body language and the things that they're doing for you, how well they get what you need. And it's not just superficial, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear kind of thing. It's that they genuinely understand you and they can handle your story, because I think you've been through a lot and I don't think everyone can handle your story. I think your story and sometimes make people feel like uncomfortable just because like they don't know how to they've never been through what you've been through, and so it's hard for them to know how to support you or the right thing to say, you know, and then it just makes you feel bad for opening up and sharing, you know, and you're like, no one wants to hear my sad story, but your future spouse is saying you're not a sad story. Like, I can handle your story, I can handle your pain and your heartbreak and your disappointment, everything you've been through. Like, you can be vulnerable with me, I can handle it, you know? I want to be here for you. I want to show up for you, which is beautiful. All right. And then we have always. And we have something wild. It's funny that in the very beginning we were talking about the sticker that you chose. And for those of you unfamiliar with Sailor Moon, like, she has, her soulmate is Tuxedo Mask or Mamoru. And they're connected by the red thread of fate. Like, they talk about that a lot in the show, of them being soulmates, and, you know, they were destined to be together. And that's kind of making me think of this always card. Like, this is like soulmate energy. You know, you feel like you met the person that you were destined to be with. You know, it feels like this element of fate here. It feels like divine timing. It feels like, you know, maybe you had to go through quite a lot of karmic relationships before you came into union with this person, you know, but it feels like finally I found you, you know, and it kind of just gives this message of like, this person will always be there for you, you know, and you can trust them and you can be open with them. And so it kind of feels like those favorite memories are going to be like when you're going through a tough time and they show up for you and they give you the support the way that you need to feel supported, you know? Like, they're just there for you. With this something wild, I also feel like they do things with you that probably would have scared you before, but it doesn't feel like, I think it was pile 1 where it was very adventurous. With this group, it's maybe not necessarily things that involve adventure, but more so like the emotional intimacy. Like, that is scary, that is unknown, like opening up like that is unknown to you. And so I think that's going to be a favorite memory of yours, just feeling like you can open up to this person and again, like they can handle it. It's going to feel very healing. You know, I feel like a real sense of freedom in this group. Like, finally, I can be free to be my authentic self. I don't have to hide behind these walls, behind these, you know, I don't have to hold such strong boundaries and like be closed off and isolated. Like, I can open up my heart. I can break down these walls. I can share who I am with this person and feel safe and free to do so. There's a real feeling of acceptance here, like unconditional love. Like, I will always love you. I will always be here for you. It feels like wild, unknown territory, you know? It feels exciting because like that emotional intimacy isn't something you've really experienced before. All right, let's see. So this is going to be the card that ends your reading. This is a message from your future spouse's higher self. I asked, what does pile 3 need to know at the time they're viewing this reading? So even just like the tone of the colors here really reminds me of the deck that you chose. So I like that a lot. I mean, the blues, the greens, the purples. It feels like a very spiritual group, I'll say that as well. And it feels like you're interconnected, like you're growing together. You know, they sort of resemble a tree here, right? It says, wait, don't rush into it, allow nature to take its course. I like that it says nature because you chose the Green Witch Tarot. It feels like this marriage, this connection is going to unfold organically. Like, it feels like everything is happening in divine timing. There's no need to rush it. There's no need to, you know, force things to happen. It feels like everything's just going to flow as it's meant to flow. You know, everything's going to unfold as it's meant to. It feels like there's a divine plan in place here for how this is meant to go. And so if you're even having some anxiety in the beginning of this connection, don't stress it, don't worry about it, because it may feel like, oh my gosh, this person is so amazing, like I don't want to lose them, and that could stir up some anxiety, you know, in the very beginning of the connection. Just wait, just be patient, you know, trust that this person is meant for you and you're going to grow together in a very organic and beautiful way. Because even like Usagi here has a lot of like jealousy and anxiety around her connection with Mamoru, even though she knows they're soulmates connected by the red thread of fate. So I think even though you're seeing this reading now, these insecurities may still come up, and that's okay. You know, like this person is going to be here for you, and this person is going to be very patient with you, just like Mamoru is very patient with Usagi. Okay, so pile 3, this was your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you always know when I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads, and I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting the channel and anyone who chooses to do any of the things that I just listed. Best of luck to you, pile 3, on your journey towards finding your future spouse, or you know, if you think this person is already in your life, best of luck to you in your connection. Yeah, this looks very beautiful and very promising, and good luck to you. Take care, pile 3.